Please don't forget to subscribe and comment. Your support is my motivation for my family. My aunt's husband watched me from the shadows. I pretended not to notice. When my mom passed away, Aunt Doris took me in like I was her own daughter. I was 17, barely holding it together, and she offered the warmest home I could have ever asked for. Her house was beautiful, vintage with creaky hardwood floors, lace curtains, and the faint scent of lavender that always lingered in the hallways. I was grateful. I really was. But something about her husband, Eugene, made me feel strange. He never said anything wrong. He was polite, too polite maybe. But from the moment I arrived, I could feel his eyes on me. The first time I noticed it, I'd just gotten out of the shower. I walked across the hall in my towel, and from the corner of my eye, I saw movement, just a shadow stepping back from the hallway. I brushed it off. Maybe it was Aunt Doris. Maybe I was imagining it. But it kept happening. At night, when I'd come downstairs for water, I'd sense him. Just out of sight, in the corner, standing still as if he didn't expect me to see him. I told myself he was just restless. Maybe he had insomnia. Maybe he paced when he couldn't sleep. Still, the air changed every time he was around. Heavy. Watchful. Quiet. I tried telling Aunt Doris once. Eugene? Sweetheart, he wouldn't hurt a fly. You know he was in the army once, right? He's just protective. It's his nature. I nodded, but I stopped bringing it up. Weeks passed. I settled into a routine: school, chores, reading, trying not to think about my mom too much. Eugene stayed polite, smiling when we passed each other, but still quiet, still watching. Then one evening, everything changed. Aunt Doris had gone to visit her sister for the weekend, leaving me and Eugene alone in the house. I stayed in my room most of the time, keeping my door locked at night, just in case. On Saturday night, a storm rolled in. Rain pounded against the windows, and the old house groaned with every gust of wind. I sat on my bed in a long sleep shirt, reading, when I heard something outside my door. A soft knock. I froze. Another knock. Everything all right in there? It was Eugene's voice. Calm. Even. Yeah. I'm fine, I called back, not moving. You sure? Power might go out. Thought I'd check. I'm good. Thanks. Silence followed for several seconds before I heard his footsteps retreat down the hall. But I didn't relax. I waited. Listened. And then I saw it, just under the crack of the door, a shadow standing still. Barely there. He hadn't left. My chest tightened. My breath caught. I didn't know what to do. Slowly, I stood and walked to the door, careful not to make a sound. I pressed my eye to the peephole Aunt Doris had insisted on installing after a break-in years ago. And there he was. Eugene. Just standing in the dark hallway, staring at the door. His face was blank. Not angry. Not threatening. But intense. Focused. I backed away and returned to bed, heart thudding against my ribs. I didn't sleep. The next morning, the power was out. The storm had passed, but the sky remained gray, the house colder than usual. I came down for breakfast wearing jeans and a sweatshirt, modest. Covered. Eugene was already in the kitchen, making coffee. Morning, he said casually. Morning. We sat in silence as he handed me a cup. His eyes lingered on me a second too long. You sleep okay? He asked. Fine, I lied. He nodded. Storms used to bother me. Back in the war, thunder sounded like artillery. I'd stay up all night just watching. I looked up. Watching what? He smiled. Just making sure everything was where it should be. I didn't say anything. Just sipped the coffee. Later that day, I went to the library to study. When I came back, the house was quiet. Aunt Doris had called saying she'd be back the next morning. I went straight to my room. Hours passed. Evening crept in. Around 11 p.m., I heard the floor creak outside my door. Again. But this time, it wasn't just a shadow. The doorknob turned gently. Testing. Thank God I kept it locked. My breath caught. I waited. Is everything all right? I said, my voice trembling slightly. Silence. Then footsteps slow and retreating. I didn't sleep again. The next morning, I heard Aunt Doris's car pull into the driveway. Relief washed over me. I bolted downstairs to greet her. She hugged me tight. How is everything? Quiet, I said. But Eugene stood at the kitchen counter, his back turned. He didn't say anything. I started planning. I needed to leave. Maybe move into the college dorms early. Maybe call my cousin or a friend. Something. But the house didn't want me to leave easily. That night, I woke to the sound of my window creaking open. Not the door. The window. I sat up, heart hammering. The curtain swayed slightly. The cool night air slipped in. I crept forward, phone in hand, ready to call someone, anyone. And then I saw him. Eugene. Outside in the yard. Just standing. Watching the window. I backed away slowly, hand covering my mouth. The next morning, I went to Aunt Doris and told her I wanted to go live on campus early. She looked surprised. But you still have 2 weeks before the semester starts. What's wrong? I need some space, I said softly. I think it's time. She sighed, touched my hand gently. Of course, sweetheart. If that's what you need. Eugene didn't say anything when I left. He stood by the porch, watching as I loaded my suitcase into the cab. His eyes never left me. I didn't look back. College was loud and messy and full of life, everything I needed. But sometimes, even in the safety of my dorm, I'd wake up thinking I saw a shadow outside my window. Weeks later, Aunt Doris called. Casual chat. Weather, recipes, church gossip. And then she said something that made my blood freeze. You know, Eugene has been acting odd lately. He barely sleeps. Walks the halls at night. Says he hears things, sees things. I think the house is too quiet without you. I didn't respond. I couldn't. Some nights, I still feel like I'm being watched. But I never told Aunt Doris what really happened. Because some secrets stay in the shadows. Just like Eugene. And I keep pretending not to notice.